Okay, we're in a brand new month. Very exciting. We're moving into the back of the body. So you guys all practiced with me quite consistently last month, and you should feel quite a difference from moving from the focus on the front of the body to then shifting to the back of the body. We'll talk about the lines a little bit as we go through class. Back body is really all about finding strength. Okay, we talk about this a lot, and it's not that hard strength, it's a soft strength, but it's the way that we can incorporate what we've learned in the front of the body, and we start to hug everything in towards the back of the body and organize the body in a very particular way that you feel rock steady. Like nothing could kind of shift you out of your posture. Okay. Hi, Marcia. Welcome. And one thing that we want to really focus on this month is getting more comfortable with stillness and quiet. Okay. We know, especially nowadays, that we are inundated with information constantly, right? If you see someone sitting by themselves, they are on their phone. If you see people who are in a conversation and then the conversation stops, then they usually grab their phone, they turn on the TV, they try to think of something to say. We, in general, as a society, are very uncomfortable with quiet. Maybe you can relate to this. Yes. So this month, we're going to really talk about this. I'm going to dive into this more in the perspective of the brain and the nervous system. We're going to talk a lot about this idea of stillness, and then also what we are consciously consuming. Okay, so all of you, I want you to set intentions this month about what you're choosing to consume, when you're choosing to consume it, and how you're balancing that out with quiet and stillness. Because we cannot make proper decisions or come from a really grounded, good place if we are consuming too much and then there's not enough stillness. It's this like huge out of balance, this huge out of whack kind of thing that's going on here. So we'll talk about that a lot this month. Okay. Just start paying attention to it. Pay attention to how comfortable you are with this quiet, and pay attention to how much you are consuming. And it can be anything, media, people, whatever it is. We need more quiet. We need more stillness. This is honestly your key to cultivating a stronger nervous system and generating more joy in your life. I promise you that. Okay. I've seen it proven in this practice personally with my own practice. We're seeing it now in research and science. There's some incredible studies out there that's happening. So this month, it'll be good. I'm really excited for it. I think you guys are going to find lots of joy in this new sequence. Okay, so quickly, welcome, Alina. Just the back body lines. I'm going to tell you guys these lines of awareness that I want you to focus on. So the back of the body starts at your toes, the sole of the foot, runs up the center of the foot, continues up the center of the leg, the center of the bum, up the back, and then back of the arms connecting to your fingertips. Okay. And then, like always, we have this central channel line from our pelvic floor all the way through the crown of the head. Okay. We'll talk about it a lot more in practice, but with you guys practicing with me so much, you should really start to connect to these lines a little bit more and start to feel them in your postures. Okay. Beautiful. Let's start. Let's come to stand at the top of our mat. I'm going to give me just a little more room on my camera here so you guys can see me a little bit better. And then we'll roll. Okay. Standing at the top of your mat, let's bring your big toes together, heels slightly apart. Let's drop into the breath. And notice how your day has gone so far. If it was a full day of consuming information, just notice how now you're showing up, how you feel, how settled or how unsettled you feel. Remember, there is lots of things that we can control in our day-to-day life. Good. Let's keep our eyes closed. Let's inhale our hands in front of heart center. And let's set an intention for our practice today. Good. Let that intention start to vibe through your breath. Feel it deep into the body. Let it resonate with every cell so that now you start to actually become your intention. Good. Let's very gently open the eyes and release your arms by your side. Good. Inhale, let's bring our arms up towards the sky, palms touch. Let's lean back into a gentle back bend, just to the point where you start to feel tension in the back. Good. And then with your exhale, let's fold forward, Uttanasana. Hands onto the mat or your shins. Good. Inhale, gaze comes up, long through the spine. Let's step our left foot back into a low lunge. Stack your front knee over your ankle, fingertips on either side of your foot. And if you need blocks or a little more height, make sure you grab them. Good. Keep your gaze forward. Inhale, step your left foot forward to meet your right. Fold in. Inhale, gaze comes up long through the spine. This time, step your right foot back, low lunge. Good. We're stacked, we're strong through that back leg. Let's plant your hands down onto the mat, step back, downward facing dog. Let's roll forward onto our hands and knees. Take a small arch in the lower back, and then you're going to bend your elbows by your side, lower chaturanga dandasana. So we're doing this last month. Good. Inhale, upward facing dog, shoulders draw up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Gaze forward, step your right foot in between your hands, low lunge. We're here just for one breath. Good. And with your exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps in between your hands. Beautiful, low lunge, deep breath. And now let's step our right foot forward to meet your left. Fold in, legs are straight. We hang out over our legs. And then inhale, let's rise all the way up. Bring your palms together at the top of your mat. Good, lean back, back bend. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, gaze comes up. Plant your hands, step your left foot back, low lunge. Beautiful. So we're going to do this a few times, this same sequence with the legs, with the low lunges. Good. Gaze forward, step your left foot forward to meet your right. Fold over your straight legs. Inhale, gaze comes up. Step your right foot back. Beautiful. Our hands plant down onto the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Let's roll forward, hands and knees. Lower back is slightly arched. Let's lower chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Our gaze comes forward. Step your right foot in between your hands. Keep the back leg active. You can be up onto your fingertips, blocks, or flat with the hands, whatever feels good. Good. Plant your hands, downward facing dog. Gaze forward. Step your left foot in between your hands. Low lunge. Long through the spine. Beautiful. Step your right foot forward to meet your left. Straighten your legs, fold in. Inhale, let's rise all the way up. Palms touch at the top. Lean back. We have one more full cycle. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, gaze comes up. Left foot steps back, low lunge. So simple movements this month. Simple postures. We want to find stillness here. Left foot steps forward to meet your right. Legs are straight. We fold forward. Inhale, gaze comes up. Step your right foot back. Good. So how can you stack the body? How can you pull in a line into the back of the body? Very good. Plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Drop down, hands and knees. Roll through your vinyasa. Let's lower chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Get our gazes forward. Step your right foot in between your hands. Beautiful. High onto the fingertips and lengthen here. And then let's step back, downward facing dog. And switching sides. Inhale, left foot steps forward. Last time through. Good. Stack that knee. Pull up on your back kneecap. Good. Let's step our right foot forward to meet your left. Straighten your legs, fold in here. Inhale, let's rise all the way up. Lean back. And arms by your side into Samastitihi. Good. Let's interlace our hands. Keep your thumb and pointer finger out. Inhale, rise your arms up towards the sky. Find length as you ground down into the feet. Good. Let's come up and over to the right. Extend weight into the left foot so that you feel this beautiful opening all throughout the left side of the body. Toes are relaxed, jaws relaxed. Find tension and strength where you need it. Good. Inhale back up through center. Exhale left. Root down through that right foot. Good. Inhale back up through center and then release your arms by your side into SATTVA. Good. This time we're going to interlace our fingers and flip your palms up towards the sky, finding a ton of length here. You want to feel how steady and long you can become here in the body, how proud you can be through the chest, how you hold the body here in confidence. Okay, and with your exhale, let's release our hands and fold forward. Hands can land onto your shins or slide them underneath your feet. That's it. Good. Bring your weight more into the toes. If you are quite flexible here, open through the back of the legs. You bend your elbows out to the side. Draw your torso towards your legs. So we're all familiar with these postures. We've been doing them for quite some time. But now we want to approach them with the back of the body in mind. Good. A few more breaths here. Beautiful. Let's slide our hands out from underneath and roll all the way up through the spine. Coming back to stand at the top of our mat. Into SATTVA. Very good. Let's take a big step back with our right foot. We're going to pivot, face your toes to the back of your mat, and square your hips. Good. Let's take our hands back behind us, interlace your fingers. Inhale first, find length through the chest, gaze up. And with your exhale, let's fold forward. Releasing your arms up towards the sky as much as possible. So you should feel this into the shoulders. But what we tend to do here is we tend to bring our shoulders up towards our ears and we bring more tension. So soften your shoulders away from your ears. Pull your shoulder blades down onto your back. Yes. You should have more space now to work with, a little more integrity in the posture. Now we simply watch our breath. Okay, keep your feet where they are. Release your hands. Take your left hand onto the mat or a block and right hand up towards the sky, coming into twisted triangle here. Good. Find more reach. We're looking for that connection from your tailbone to the crown of the head. So how do you organize the body? Find more length there. And once that length is steady, you twist a little deeper. Good. Let's release both hands down onto the mat. Walk your hands out in front of you. Bring your palms to touch into prayer. Drop your head so that your ears are in line with your arms, and we hold here. Now it's easy to forget about the abs here or that central line. So see if you can bring a little more activation. Yes, and watch how now all of a sudden your spine gets a little longer. Just simple shifts in your awareness. Good, keep your palms together. Inhale, rise all the way up. Good, and then let's switch sides. Let's release our arms, pivot on the toes. We're going to face now the top of our mat. Left foot's forward, right foot back, square through the hips. Good. Take your hands back behind you, interlace. Inhale first, find length. And exhale, we fold forward. Beautiful. These look good. So watch if you have a ton of weight into that front foot, see if somehow you can pivot the pelvis so that you find more weight into your right foot. Good. Find space between your shoulders and your ears. Draw your shoulder blades onto your back and then settle in. Beautiful. Let's unwind. Place your right hand down onto the mat. Left hand either onto your sacrum or up towards the sky for twisted triangle. Again, if you need a block, I'm going to show you with a block. Your right hand is on the block, left arm up towards the sky. Yes. And I love when I see you guys using props. It is way better to have space to move into, to start to understand the body with, than being so kind of caught up and tight in the posture. Yes, beautiful. There is absolutely no race in yoga. Now, as we unwind, walk your hands out in front of you, bring your palms to touch, and just fold forward. Drop your head. Gaze is back towards your right toes. Good. Find your belly button. Find your knees. So pulling up on the knees, root down through your feet. Good. And now to rise up, keep your palms together. Inhale, come up. Lengthen out of the body. Good. And then release. Come to stand at the top of your mat into Samastiti. Very good. Vinyasa. Inhale, rise up with your arms. Exhale, we fold forward. Inhale, gaze comes up. Plant your hands, jump or step back, high plank. Let's lower. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. From here, inhale, step your right foot to the outside edge of your right hand. Good. Your back knee is lifted. Your back heel is stacked. We're staying here. Okay. Now, if you do want a little bit deeper, you can come down onto your forearms or onto blocks. So just see what feels good. If you need more space, just inch your right foot a little bit more to the edge of your right mat. Good. Try not to collapse. Can you find more length in your spine? Maybe bring your gaze up just slightly. That's it, Robin. Good. If there's intensity, if there's shaking, you know this is a good thing. You're on the brink of a breakthrough of some form or matter. Good. One more breath here. Good. Let's slowly unwind. Plant your hands. Step back. Downward facing dog. Working with the same side. We're going to come into pigeon posture. So inhale your right shin behind your right wrist crease. Let's come on down. Good. Back toes are tucked under. Finding stability and length here. Now, options. You can stay here, or you're going to come into a twist by sliding your left arm behind your right. Good. Palms can come together or into prayer, pushing together. And then use this. So use the strength of your arms to find more length. Good. Create more space. Create more space in your hip creases, more space between your shoulders and your ears, and then more space between each vertebrae in the spine. Good. Good. Now as we unwind, let's come back through center. Now you can continue to hold here. If there's tons of intensity here for you, you can stay here. Or we're going to bend our back knee and catch onto the top of your left foot with your left hand and hold. No, this brings up a lot for people when we start to work so deep into the hips, to the pelvis. But then watch what happens to your breath. Yes. And then this is where we start to strengthen ourselves, is even with all the intensity the postures have to offer, how do we choose to respond to them? Yeah, let's very gently release. Hands come down onto the mat, push back, downward facing dog. Good. And then still, we're all working on the right side. Inhale your right foot in between your hands. And we're going to shift into our splits on the right. Okay. So I'm going to show you the prep posture first. If you know where you're taking them, just move straight there. Good. So this is our prep posture. Starting point A. If you're a little more open, hands onto the blocks or even the mat. And as the body starts to warm up and slowly open up for you, you keep inching that foot forward. Some of you are working with blocks, some of you are onto the mat. Good. And then we watch what the mind is being drawn towards. Is it being drawn towards the noise or the more of the stillness in the posture, more of the subtle sensations? Can we get comfortable in this stillness? Can we get comfortable without so much action, so much movement, so much chatter? You can stay here or come fold forward for the last few breaths. And our mind will start to respond just by the capacity and rhythm of your breath. So if you're finding that it is complicated and challenging to control your mind, it's actually really simple. You first need to gain control of your breath. Good. Let's make our way out of the posture and into downward facing dog. Beautiful. Good. And then inhale, let's step our left foot to the outside edge of our left hand. Good. That back knee's lifted. It's engaged, and that back heel stacked over your toes. Now, a lot of us kind of sink into this right pelvis. See if you can find that lift, find that strength. And this comes from the stability of the core. Okay, so pulling up on those stomach muscles. Now, you're either staying here or you're coming down into your forearms. Try to balance out here what you did on the other side. Good. Good, Marcia. Find that breath. And just when you feel like giving up, if I was to start to count to 4, you would be able to hold. Yes? Yeah, good. So let's hold here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Come back up onto your hands and shift back downward facing dog. Good. And then pigeon posture on the left. So inhale your left shin behind your left wrist crease. Let's come on down. So do the same here as you did on the other side. You're either staying on your fingertips or you can take your right arm, thread it underneath your left, maybe joining your palms together. Good. Now again, probably how you are situated right now, you're quite crunched up. So notice, start at the pelvis. Create more space in the pelvis. Create more space between your hip flexors and your rib cage. And then keep working your way up. Create more space between your armpit and your rib cage. More space between your shoulders and your ears. Good. And then just create more softness in the jaw. Beautiful. That feels better. Good. To release, let's come back up onto your hands. And then again, you're more than welcome to stay here, or we're going to catch onto that right foot for a few breaths and start to draw it in. Now, if people are looking for kind of that next step with this posture, if they feel pretty good here, what happens is we start to take this right hand and spin it on top of your toe so that we can square our shoulders to the top of the mat. Yes, good. And then we continue to work that right heel down. Beautiful. Let's release. Hands come down. Downward facing dog. So we can feel much different intention, pace, and rhythm with this sequence this month. Good. Now let's move into our splits on the left. So inhale your left foot in between your hands. Drop your back knee. And then you find your variation. You might be working the prep posture, which is perfect. Really takes time to unwind these big muscles in the body. You're quite close to the ground. Make sure you're supported by some blocks, pillows. The quickest way to know if you're in alignment in this posture is to look at your front foot and watch if it's either flopping out to the side or into the middle. Make sure your toes are straight up. Push down through your heel, and then same with your back heel. It might be rotating in or out. Make sure it's straight up. Good. Slight pulling back of the left hip, right hip forward. Now let's fold forward for a few breaths. Just creating a different level of intensity. And you can choose to just very gently move into it without any change in your facial expression and your emotion. We just simply are here. And there's nothing really left to do. Good. And then very gently, let's start to unwind from the posture. This time, let's step back into high plank. Good. Let's lower. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, let's bring our gaze forward. Jump all the way through onto our seat. Let's straighten our legs out in front of us into Janu Shirshasana. Let's take the sole of the right foot to the inside edge of the left leg. Left heel is grounding down to the mat, and then let's simply fold forward over our legs. So this part of the sequence is really quite interesting. We do one posture, and then we do a vinyasa, and we do about 4 or 5 postures like this. So the point really is to keep the rhythm and consistency, right? Give us some form of rhythm to focus on. So just notice your response to this part of the sequence. And slowly unwind. Straighten your right leg and we'll switch sides. So how do we make these postures or our practice or the mind less complicated? Well, we first start to take away our need to control, right? And we just get comfortable with the way things are. We strip away the noise, the chatter, all of the information, and we connect with the sensation of the breath. Good. Inhale, let's release. Straighten your legs out in front of you. Now let's cross our ankles, rock forward into high plank. Let's flow through vinyasa with your own breath, meeting into downward facing dog. Good. Gaze forward. Let's jump all the way through onto your seat. Take your legs straight out in front of you for a forward seated fold. And come on forward. So if we truly want to understand ourselves and if we want to start to cultivate peace, we have to find stillness. And we must start to embrace the quiet instead of being fearful of it. Good. Let's walk back with the hands, up with the torso, cross your ankles, rock forward, jump or step back, high plank, vinyasa. Gaze forward, jump all the way through onto your seat. Take your legs straight out in front of you. You're going to walk your hands back behind you. So two options here. Either your legs are straight, we're finding a lift long through the back, or you can bend your knees. Same idea here, and lift, okay? So either of those postures, let's shift into it now. Good. If you're not feeling this, then you need to lift a little higher. Connect to your big toes down into the mat. Find that internal rotation of your legs. Good. Exhale, let's release. Rise back up. Cross your ankles. Rock forward, high plank. Jump or step back. Let's lower. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Come forward into high plank. Lower yourselves all the way down onto the belly. Let's bend both knees. Reach around, catch onto the tops of your feet. For some of us, if we can't reach, this is where we're going to be. We're going to keep lengthening back, okay? If you do have a hold of them, inhale, let's lift into Dhanurasana. We were working this all last month, so see if you can find a little bit more of a lift. Yes, good. These are beautiful. Good, Dagmar, Marcy. Beautiful. And let's release. Good. Turn your cheek onto the mat. Take a big breath in. Exhale out. Let's turn our head back through center. Bring your hands beside your chest, and we're going to inhale into upward facing dog. But we are going to hold this time. So place the tops of the feet onto the mat. Good. So a lot of us are kind of like this. So our shoulders are kind of up towards our ears. How much more space can you find? Yes, beautiful. If you push down into the hands. Now don't crunch into the lower back. Keep pulling forward so there's space there as well. Good. From here, we're going to shift back onto our knees. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Good. Last vinyasa of the class. Inhale, forward, high plank. Let's lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, let's drop down onto our hands and knees and set up for headstand. So headstand or headstand prep. You guys know this posture well, so just shift into it. I always like to walk us through the prep posture, just in case someone's watching this at a later date or needs some extra hints here. If you're coming down to your forearms, grab onto opposite elbow. Release your hands, interlace your fingers. Keep your palms wide. Crown of the head onto the mat. Back of the head supported with your hands. Tuck your toes and straighten your legs like downward facing dog. Start to walk forward. And from here, if you're working the posture, you're just lifting one foot for a count of 5 or 6, and then switch sides. Good. Maybe you're coming up into your full headstand. Good, Wilhelmina. Keep working that strength. Rooting down through your forearms, finding the lift. Beautiful. And very slowly, we can all come down and meet into child's posture. The knees are wide. We're pressing our third eye down into the mat. And we literally want to feel like we are melting here into the mat. So melting around our bones. Beautiful. Let's start to walk our hands back up. Draw your knees together. Let's shift your feet off to the side and onto your back for back bends. Good. Thanks, Robin. Good. So swing your knees up towards the sky, feet flat onto the mat. And then move through any of these steps that you would like to join us in. So start with your arms by your side. Inhale your pelvis up. If you're adding on, hands onto your lower back, walk your elbows underneath you. Good. Still adding on, hands to the side, your ears. Maybe push down to the crown of the head or up into your full wheel. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can come all the way down onto the crown of the head if you're building strength. Good. And inhale, let's rise back up for second set. Good. If you're in your full wheel, bring your toes in slightly, heels slightly out. Push down, equal weight hands and feet for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Let's come all the way down. Just 2 back bends today. Let you guys off. Good. Let's find stillness for a second here. So feel the tingling sensation in your back as it rests into the mat. Feel the softness that comes from the release of your back bend through the chest, through your jaw. And now inhale, let's bring our right leg up towards the sky. Find some point where you can grab on. So just avoid the knee. If you're grabbing onto either side of your foot, then you start to bend your elbows out to the side, draw your leg down. Now again, watch that there's not tension or unnecessary tension in your shoulders and jaw. Find space between your shoulders and your ears. Push that right glute back down towards the mat, and it should intensify the posture. Good. From here, everyone can straighten your left leg. Let's grab a hold of our right knee with our left hand, and then we're going to draw our right knee across our body. Good. Right arm can extend nice and wide, and maybe your gaze comes over towards your right fingertips. Now, have you forgotten about your breath? If so, no problem. We just simply guide our awareness back there. Let's come back through center. Plant your right foot back down onto the mat. Inhale your left leg up towards the sky. Catch on. So as you move through the rest of your day, just be conscious of what you are consuming. Is there a point where your well-being is better off by shutting off the noise? So whether that's being on social media, the actual news, whatever it is there a point that it is better for you if you just shut it all off? Yes. If we want to continue to show up in this life, continue to make things better, we also have to take care of ourselves and our well-being. Look after our little ones, look after our loved ones. We first have to be selfish and make sure that we are taken care of. Good. Let's straighten the right leg, bend your left knee, and bring it across your body. Right hand pulls it across, left arm reaches wide. And you should feel much different now from when you very first started your practice today. So that's it. Just really quick 40 minutes of being conscious, moving the body, following your breath. And we are now balanced once again, right? Even if it's just for a short period of time, at least for this time, we are healing both the body and the mind. Good. Let's draw our knees back up through center. Let's hug our knees into our chest one last time, maybe rocking from side to side. Good. And then let's move into Shavasana. The legs are straight, our feet can be together. Let your hands land where they want to land, either your belly, your chest, off your body beside you. Do a quick body scan. Breathing light into any part that's still feeling tension. And then with your next exhale, completely soften here. Soften the breath. And watch how you can simply show up and be whole in this stillness. Let's take a couple deep breaths back into the body. And just notice how good your breath feels after all this work. Then draw your knees into your chest, taking one more breath before you roll onto your side, and then make your way up to your comfortable seated position at the top of your mat. Very good. So once we find our tall seat, tall spine, move into our breathing exercise. We're going to work with Bhastrika pranayam this month. Okay, so kind of similar to what we were doing last month. All the focus is going to be on your exhale. So the breath is in and out through the nose. We largely focus on the exhale, so pushing the breath out. Okay, and then the belly is kind of just naturally snapping back towards your spine. So maybe not quite as intense as we were working with last month. Okay, so we're going to do 4 rounds of 27 breaths like last time. At the end of the last round, we are going to let all the breath out, and we're going to hold for about a count of 5 to 10. Okay, but I'll walk you through it, and then we'll start to get really comfortable with it this month. Good, so let's take a big inhale here. Exhale out. Good. And then begin. Our belly just very naturally and gently comes out. And then exhale. Good. Take a breath in. Breath out. Now we'll begin again. Inhale. Good. Take a breath. Exhale. We're moving on to our third set. Inhale. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Last time through. Okay, let's take a big inhale. Exhale the breath out. And then hold at the bottom. Good. Take another big inhale. And exhale. Very well done. Let's move into our natural breath. Try to keep your eyes closed. Try to stay steady here and notice what you feel. So Vastrika is an extremely powerful pranayama. So it improves our blood circulation. It helps with our immunity. It induces peace. It helps with our skin, creates glowing skin, and helps to burn toxins and excess fat. So sometimes we don't give credit to the power of the breath, but when done regularly, we will start to notice the benefits. So as we start to just soak into our practice now, feeling all of the benefits, the shift in energy, just start to follow your natural breath. And instead of doing a meditation today, we're going to do just a quick body scan before we finish up practice. So with that natural breath, let's start to bring our awareness to our toes. Not only feeling the physical body, but the space around your toes as well. Let's guide our awareness into our knees. First into the physical body and then to the space around them. And then follow your awareness into your hips, your pelvis. We follow our awareness up the spine and land into our shoulders and then the space that exists around our shoulders. Guide your awareness down your arms so that it lands into the fingertips and the space around your fingertips. And then lastly, let's bring our awareness to the space all around the physical body. The space just outside of the body that exists in space. Connecting to the freedom, the potential that exists there. Okay, let's draw a big inhale back into the body. Full exhale. Okay, let's guide our hands in front of heart center. Bowing inward first to our intention and to ourselves. And then to the rest of this beautiful community that showed up to practice today. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste.